What's up, guys? We're going to do part 2 for the arpeggio tutorial. Today we're going to do minor. Now I do recommend checking out part 1, the majors, just to get those and make the positions very recognizable. That's going to make this video so much easier. Now we're going to jump in with minor 7s, and the reason is if you're playing minor with a major 7, you're probably playing some advanced stuff that you don't really need this tutorial anyway. So we're going to focus on minor 7s. All right, so let's get right into it. Our A, we're going to do A first. So we got A, minor 7. All right, now you can add your E, your 5th on the bass. All right, since there's an E right here. And then there's also a G, which is our flat 7. All right, so since that's now becoming our lowest, let's start there. All right, and we're gonna do the same building method where we're just gonna start with the top 3 strings and then the bottom 3, and then we're gonna put it across so that you guys can get all the forms. By the end of this video, it's gonna make so much sense. All right, so we have A minor 7, our E in the bass, our E is our 5, and our G is our flat 7. So just on the top 3 strings, we have 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5. Because remember, we're always starting and ending on the same note an octave apart. So again, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5. All right. Now the other method, we were crawling up using one note would stay the same and the back notes will come forward, and then we would kind of go that way. That's not going to happen. We're just going to move up positions. All right, because that's just the way that the minor form is kind of put into the guitar. So now we're going to start with our flat 7. We started with our 5. Now we start with our flat 7. So now we have flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, and then flat 7 for that octave to get it. And if you guys look for that A minor, you can see bits of that coming through. All right, you know that that's your A right there. So your flat 7A is easy. This is your C, so that's not too hard to figure out. And then your 5 is in your A minor right there, your 5, and then your flat 7 right there. All right, so now let's move up to our A. This is gonna be nice and easy. We have our 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, and obviously that's just like your minor or your minor 7 bar chord. All right, right there. All the pieces kind of right there, even if you were to do like a, right, that kind of groove. So that's where this kind of starts forming in. Now we can use those 2 familiar notes to jump up when we go to our flat 3. Flat 3, right? Flat 3 to our 5. You know the 5's already there. Instead of going to your flat 7 here, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, just like this, where our pinky is, 1, and then you know how far the flat 3 is. So flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3. All right, so I want you to try that. Sorry, my strings are making some weird noise over here. I'm gonna move some stuff around. I never clip those things. All right, so just one more time to get back into it. Flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3. All right, you can kind of see it, and it vaguely resembles a C, but you could still see those 2 notes carrying over. All right, so now we're gonna move up. Our flat 3 is gonna go to our 5. If you have to use your ear, just like before. So now that's gonna be our starting point. So now we're gonna have 5. We're gonna use the same. Flat 7 is the last one. 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, and then 5. Sorry, I almost went to that one, but I wanna keep it just for the top 3 strings. So 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, and then 5 for that octave. All right, you can start seeing it get closer because that's our A now, all right? So that's our 5 of our A. If we were able to go down when we did the first one, we're not able to because of the nut. So we're kind of doing that here at the 12th fret. So 5, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, and then 5 for the octave. All right, now, same thing starting here, but we're just gonna go forward. 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, which is the same thing that we started with. All right. Now, if you guys are being able to recognize all of these forms are going to start looking very familiar because they are going to kind of repeat a little bit. So this is my 1, flat 3, 5. If I were to do a closed version of a minor chord, closed just means like instead of a big power chord, like nice and open, everything is stacked right on top of each other. If you looked on a musical staff, it's the closest note next to each other, because if I do this bar chord, I jump right from my 1 to my 5. All right, but in this, I go my 1, my flat 3, and my 5. And that is going to pop up a lot. That is right here. So if I add my 5, you know that's your 1 right there. My 5, my flat 7, and my 1. It's just based off of that little form right there. All right, so same with down here. It's flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, and then my flat 7 just to fill it in. Right, and then that gets a little bit easier because then that flat 7 that you just put in this form, right, and then bring it up to that 1, starts getting into this, which is very easy to notice. Then you can use those two as your anchor to get into your, and you're using that right there. Your anchor might get a little unfamiliar where your pinkies are, but now you're getting into this territory and just adding your 5 before. 5. All right, and then we're back to the same thing once we get to the 12th fret. So I hope that made a little bit of sense. Now I like to start there because it starts to get you to use your ear and you're getting familiar with some of these forms, these repeating forms. So now let's do the same thing. We're gonna go down A minor 7. All right, and our lowest note, we're gonna do the open strings just for the hell of it. So we got flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. All right, so just filling in the holes. All right, so that is going to be our first step. So now let's just take this up. All right, so we're not going to start. We're going to start on our 1. We're going to move up the position. So now we have our 1. You should know by now that's where your flat 3 is. So 1, flat 3. If you have to figure out where the 5 is, just use your ear because that's always going to be the biggest jump. So if I start here, starting on my A, right, just where my 3rd finger is. So A, so we're not breaking too far from there. A, you always just up those 3 frets or kind of like back the 1 if you're going from your G to your B string, or back 2 like we were doing here. It's always that close, all right? So we got A, so 1, flat 3, find your 5, your flat 7, and your 1. Now, the trickiest thing that doesn't always repeat is when we're working with our G to our B string, just because it's only that major 3rd apart, not a 4th apart. So that does get like a little bit tricky. But there has a little bit of resemblance to this A as our starting point. But then also, sorry, my battery went down. But also this as we get into that form. So you have, right, that's still the bottom 5 of an A minor 7. So, right, and just bringing it down for that flat 7. So you start getting recognizable forms here. Now, same if I do my bottom 3 for my A minor 7. I have my flat 3, 5, just like before, right? Flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, or minor 3rd. Some people are gonna pick me apart with a flat 3 or a minor 3rd. So I'm gonna stick with flat 3. Flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3. Now that's pretty similar to the pentatonic. So you guys should have that. That'll be nice and easy. So now let's use those anchor notes to move ourselves up now. So instead of our flat 3, we're gonna start under 5, but obviously not that one, this one. So now I have 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5. Now if you look, what I have here is, which is my D minor, and if I'm playing a D minor open chord, that's my root note. So I slide it up because that's my A. So now that becomes the bridge up. All right, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, and then 5 just to end it on the octave. All right, so let's keep moving a little bit. So now my 5, my flat 7, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, and then I can get up to that flat 7, but I'm kind of like breaking position a little bit. So let's now take what was back here up. Now 1, I'm sorry, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, and that's that form, which is what we started with. Now I'm gonna go through that quickly to get you guys to see the climb up. All right, so again, minor 7. So I'm gonna start with that open G, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. All right, so that's all right there in that form. And then I'm gonna kind of use a little bit of this form. I'm gonna start on that A now, so instead of the open G, that A for the 1, and I'm gonna start incorporating that form. All right, those. So I have my 1, flat 3, just like in the bar chord, 5, just like the bar chord, and then my 1, but I could sneak that flat 7 in there real quick to get, and before the 1, and that bridges the A minor form and then the bar chord form. Now, using the bar chord form in the pentatonic, starting on our flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3. All right? Now from there, our next bridge, because we want to start on our 5, is going to be looking at our A minor as though it was a D minor, moved up to A. All right, so I have my 5. Instead of going right to my 1, I'm going to add my flat 7. 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, and then 5 to end it for that octave. All right. Now my next bridge is going to be, well, I did the flat 3 or flat 7 here, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, and then I broke position to get to that. So we don't really have to worry about that. We can get right up to that A minor all the way up here and look at that. So if that's my A, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. Now, if all of that was a little too fast for you guys to get, I do recommend doing part 1 and looking at the major forms. Now, there's more forms for the major. It's just the way that the guitar is set up. So, but I am going a little quicker. You guys feel free to pause it and kind of digest it. Go through each form as much as you can. Use your ear. This is also great for ear training, and eventually the forms will start coming together. Now let's do what I just did. We're gonna do it for all 6 strings, all right? So we're gonna start open, which I don't usually do, but just to get the hang of it. So I have my A minor, my A minor 7. All right, and I'm gonna start all the way with that open E, and I have my 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. And all that is filling in all the notes in an open A or A minor 7. That's all we're doing right there. Let's take it up to the next form, because I love this. This takes those notes, those familiar notes here, and even the flat 3 right there, and the flat 7, and it also bridges it with the kind of the 5th fret down. So we're using both of those to fill in the gap. So now I have my flat 7, which you know. Now my 1, right? So that's in the bar chord form. My flat 3, which you should know just from doing the open chord form. My 5, which is right in an A minor. My flat 7, which is in the bar chord. Boom, in the bar chord. My 1, which is in an A minor. My flat 3, 5th fret, which is in the bar chord. My 5 in the bar chord. My 1 in the bar chord, but then I'm going to sneak that flat 7 in there. All right, so now you get... All right, one more time. All right, now here it gets a little bit easier, and we're going up A minor, 7, and we're just filling in the gaps. So 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3. All right? And a pentatonic is a 5-note scale. So the only note is actually this, the 4. That's not in that arpeggio. So that could make it a little easier for you guys. Now, we're going to move up. What we're going to do is we're going to use those 2 anchor notes for the top, all right, and then we're going to use those 2 anchor notes for the bottom. 2 8th frets, flat 7 and flat 3, and then our 5 and our 1, and move it up to this flat 3rd, 5, which we had before in the bar chord, flat 3rd, 5, then your flat 7, and then your 1 and your flat 3, which those positions are nice and easy. And then we have our 5 right here, our flat 7, our 1, and our flat 3. So we're using that as well. So we have those two as anchor notes and our D minor chord shape from down here moved up. All right, so you're using two forms, kind of looking at it directly. So there's always, in my mind, in my opinion, an easy one, and then a difficult form that bridges two easy forms together. Does that kind of make sense? So like this one was easy because it's open and you kind of visualize it, and then this one's easy because it's your bar chord, and then trying to bridge them together just takes a little bit of brain power. Okay, so that's what this one is. Right, taking those two forms and putting them together. All right, so now we're gonna move up to our 5. All right, and just like we were doing here, and this is going to end up also incorporating our D minor form, but getting up to that 5. So we just have 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5. We're gonna go up here for our flat 7, and then our 1, flat 3, 5. So that 1, flat 3, 5 is right out of here. All right, so now let's move this up. 5, and we're doing now it's just gonna start right back with the first form, just up in the 12th fret. 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, and you can just visualize again your A minor 7 as though you had a capo on the 12th fret. I want you guys to try that. Let me know how it goes, and what we're going to do for part 3 is we're going to start adding, we're going to start doing really cool exercises with it, but then we're also going to start adding some 9s, some flat 9s, whatever it is, just to get you like super musical about this. If you master part 1 and you master this one, it's going to expand the guitar neck for you so much, I can guarantee it. So I will see you guys next time.